Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi, everyone. Today is Thursday, February the 19th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report. Charts by TrendSpider, Gamma Flows by Menther Q, and yeah, let's get after it. So I've got a daily formation showing you that we are still in a range. Notice, day before yesterday, we bounced off of the floor of this formation at 6,800. Yesterday, we moved into 69.25, which was this line right here. And today, we are inside of yesterday. Inside range, inside value equals messy price action. Okay? Very messy price action. My suspicion is that the line in the sand today for above below is going to be around 6,860. And we did just test that. This is yesterday's 30-minute opening formation. Let's put a box around this Globex event. Side note, seasonality says that only 33% of the time February is positive. And so let's take a look at where we are relative to that. And let's go to the monthly candlestick. It is down, but notice it could be down if we run another 90 points to the upside from here. So keep that in your mind as you steer things around. Our 68.85 area literally sends us back into the box. It's a great breakdown zone for the overnight. Truly, it came in, lost the level, bounced, tested the edge of the 30-minute, and now we rotate down. So I'm going after simplicity's sake here. What I've been working on are some very dense portfolios, and I just am not sure the juice is worth the squeeze. It's just so data intensive that it's brought me back to the space that simplicity matters. And so what do we have? We have a 30-minute formation that says, listen, 68.66 is trying to form itself out as a floor. That's what we're going to stare down. That's going to be our go, no go in terms of further buying without waiting to fall into that 68.50 area. Inventory in the overnight was long. It corrected at London Open, and now inventory is short to mixed, right? So people unwound here and then bought back at that 68.66. Losing 68.66, we go to 68.50, bottom of the value area where we're seeing a lot of demand. There's a big demand zone here, and that number is 68.30. Do I expect us to head further to the south? I don't, because I believe we're in a bigger box. Flows remain the same. We have value area high, 6,920. Prior day's high, 6,924. Watch for the price action to do something there. Momentum is underneath the zero line, and we have a limited range of upside pressure. And so this tells me very sideways to down in the drift. And that's what I would suspect. If we get above 68.85, then we recover to 69.15. And that's what we're staring down. Let's go to the NQ. All right. Interesting. 0% of all Fed changes were positive. Oh, that's for 1 year. Okay, that's bananas. Let's change that. Since. Oh, it won't give me any more. Well, that stinks. All right. Granularity. Huh. That's so weird that it won't give me more data than that. Huh. Scan since. All right. Well, We don't really have much telling us what's going on, but isn't this interesting? I'm going to figure out what's going on with that. Never mind. All right, let's take a look at the NQ, see what's going on. A little bit weaker. We can see trend. Definitely lower highs. Also higher lows. Important, very important to take a look at this formation. As we get to the 30-minute chart, we can see that we are trying to hold the bottom. We did break through this edge and came a little bit deeper. So let me remove the alert and the ray. And the line. Instead, let's use this one. That's the volume by price. So what we have is a sideways pressure event that's giving us a floor very close to this volume by price. Big bounce we just got there. This is a big bounce coming into this area. We battled around this zone all day yesterday. That 24,880. We actually talked about it in our classroom session in Top Step. We were right here at around 24,890. That's where we were looking at the breakdown event. And the breakdown event was very substantial. Now it's coming back and trying to hold the zone. A lot of demand just above it. So there were a lot of buyers that engaged here and tried to hold the ledge at 24,920, but could not. So what do we stare down? Here's our 30-minute high. I want to see an alert that recaptures that edge. Same formation as the NQ, excuse me, as the ES. And so that's our go, no-go line in my mind. More buyers are going to show up there if that happens. All right, if we lose 24,811, we step down into the opening range of days prior. So we will stare that down. And, oh shucks, I forgot to look at the max pain. Sorry, I'll do that later. I'm a little befuddled this morning. All right, so here we are. If we can't hold 24,900, there are things that could push us further to the south. Okay, so let me remove this alert. Let's put 25,000 there again. See if we can recalibrate it. And what do we see? Buyers coming up from underneath, trying to recapture this space. So far, it looks like a megaphone. Those are pretty ugly, folks. Megaphone's pretty ugly. We had one yesterday from the early price of the morning, and we might have one today. Traders are still using the higher regions as exit liquidity. Momentum is negative. So bounces, sell zones. Dips, buy zones. Caught significantly in a range. Very wide value area high, value area low. It's 400 points wide. 24,600 to 25,000. And that's what we've got there. And we're sitting slam in the middle. So pretty messy. Also an inside day, just like the ES. All right, let's take a look at micro Bitcoin. Trend still lower. Let's get rid of these guys. Oops. Get all the segments out of there. Let's go to the daily. Fight Club still going on. Still in the octagon over here. Trying to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Sitting at or above this 66,000. But the loss of it could be significant. What are we looking at? Higher lows, lower highs. So they are trying to converge. Notice you can see that where value, the point of control, and the VWAP are sitting. Very obvious that they're chopping around that zone. Okay, we lost this ledge. Going to remove that alert and remove the ray. We still have the line at 66,800, but now it's very messy. So we don't see clear decisions. And that's something very important when you're drawing lines. You want to make sure you can see clear decisions by the buyers or sellers. Here, our clear decision line, relatively speaking, is the 67,300 zone. We get up above there, we have all this supply to contend with, folks. If these traders can break out above this 68,000, we could have a squeeze into potentially 69,000. Right? What is momentum? Down, but in positive territory. What is trend? Down. So what do? When this is in positive territory, you have to wait for it to slip to negative territory and stay under the VWAP. What are we doing? It slipped to negative territory, potentially right here. It's got to stay under the VWAP, or it's not going to be a good short unless you're up near the edge, and that's at 67.34. Notice the traders are trying to lift price. They're just not doing it very effectively. See the zone? Flag pattern, and then down again. So my suspicion is that it is quite close to natural bounce zones, and the bottom of that 30-minute candlestick formation, right around 66,000, is going to give us a little bit of a floor if the traders are trying to make a move to the north. It's very messy. A lot of sellers dropped off here at this 66,800 where our old line was, but it's gotten very, very choppy. And so you want to watch for that. It's an important line, but they are breaking it and then failing below it. So it's giving you a little bit of tough angle event. We are sitting outside the value area low, just by a bit though. 66,800 value area low, value area high, 68,400. Let's look at oil. So here's the thing about oil. When it's trending, don't try to top it. It really is not a good idea. And remember, we have geopolitical risk here. We are really not awash in oil the way people think that we are. We simply are not. We simply are not. Let's go to the daily chart. Whoa, seasonality for CL1, 43. I know why that NQ did not do that. Okay, so here's the seasonality. Positive through April, and then 50-50 in May and June. And July, it's got the biggest probability of being upside. So what are we doing? We're breaking into key resistance. We got a new resistance line. That resistance line is around 66. 70 is the call wall. 57 is the put wall. And take a look at this. See this big inventory box? Look out, because if it breaks out of there, it's going to have itself a pretty big run. So let's clone this. Well, we don't have to clone it. It's $5 wide. That puts us over 70. Could happen. Easily could happen. Do we have a mixture of trend and momentum? Yes, we do. What does that mean? Pullbacks or buy zones. If trend is up and momentum is down, pullbacks or buy zones. So here's the last pullback. It was a buy yesterday from the bottom of the range to the top of the range at 66 or so. Right? I'm going to move 65 out of the way. You know what? 65 looks pretty good. So here is our 30-minute opening range. We spent a lot of time there, so it's going to matter. Is this a topping formation? Potentially. Potentially a topping formation. But what does trend tell us? Trend says, it might be topping formation, but I'm coming back to support. So what would support be most likely? Top of the 30-minute formation. It took us, look at how many hours it sat here, from 6 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. before the break. So that is collecting inventory in higher spaces and then just ripping the heads off of everybody that decided to go short. because they're thinking, a lot of people have a bearish mindset about oil, and they were right to for many years. Not anymore. We're moving through a different kind of cycle event. All right, so dips or buys, $65.60 potentially, and then $65. Get out of the way if it starts looking directional. Where is the go, no-go line? It's at this $65. So we could easily come all the way into 65 and start running again. If we lose 65, well, now we've got a chance to head back into inventory. But notice how far away inventory is. If we were looking at JJ's work and we built that inventory event, here is the top edge. So that's 2x. It could easily come all the way back down here. Easily. So for sure. Big inventory box. Very big inventory box from 62 to 63.70 or so. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Wow, let's take a look at a daily on that one. Okay, lower highs. Gold looks like it's trying to come in. Higher lows. Where to draw this line? We have this one that collects these three guys, and then this one that collects those two guys. So what is the storyboard? Seems to me like 4,867 or so is the buy zone. Look at the momentum. It's very negative on the daily. Cross current here, but very negative momentum. So let's go back to the 30-minute chart. We're seeing a topping formation, declining momentum, and drift that is holding price action below the gamma line of 5,020. So that's probably our go, no-go line today. 5,018, 5,020. We can't break that, then we move to the south again. And so I'm going to remove the alert and yeah, we'll leave it back there. It needs to be a little bit wider for a breakthrough, because the floor does look like 49.97. That's what it looks like. And we've got an anchored VWAP at 49.77 and then 49.66. This is clearly some kind of range that they're trying to build. The question is, where do you take this trade? And this is hard, because if you have a higher high, but with drifting momentum, but then you have a higher low with also drifting momentum, it could give you one more leg to the top before you actually stay under the VWAP. Because remember, that's where the trigger gets solid to move into the next support zones. You're under the VWAP and you have negative pressure. If that happens, you can sell the top, buy the bottom in trend. But don't ignore that bottom, because the overall trend is up. So that is a sticky bit, friends. That is a very sticky bit. Let me edit this alert. Sickles. Well, let me do that. All right. Okay, let's go to SPY. Only down month for gold is June. Let's take a look at SPY. So here we're in Feb. It's a coin toss for everything. Notice the max pain, 683. We came right into it 3 times yesterday. Before the open, after the open, at the close, and then in the pre-market at 5:30. So there's some kind of pinning going on in here before expiration. Chances are, if the max pain is sitting at 84, 684, we're probably going to leak into that zone fairly easily. Okay, so what are we looking for? Here we see lower highs. Are we seeing higher lows? If we go back in time, yes. If we go back in time, for sure. But not specifically. Good golly, how long have I been talking? Too long. Okay. Edges inside the value area all the way down at 680. Put wall, 674. Call wall at 700. Still a very wide range. What have the traders been doing? Been buying the dip. Here we are above the VWAP. Momentum is negative. Trend is negative. Above the VWAP, long into the next area of resistance. Okay? So max pain still at around 684. It may shift intraday, but that's what it looks like. And we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. Take care. I'll see you soon.